Good afternoon, Faith. Come on, your mic is muted at the beginning of the show. But anyway, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Real Talk Show. And on today's topic, we are going to be discussing an interesting topic, which is relationships. We're going to be talking about the ups, the downs, everything in between relationships. And what's making everything excited is that we are joined
And
by
the
our
sideways.
yeah, and the sideways. We are joined by an amazing guest who is Uncle D. And the most interesting part about Uncle D is that Uncle D is a life coach, Uncle D is a relationship counselor, Uncle D is the pastor, and Uncle D is the mentor. So we couldn't have picked a better person for this on the show. Faith, what do you think about Uncle D being here with us right now?
Well, to be honest, I'm really excited, and thank you so much, Malungo, for the opportunity. Once again, Uncle D, you're welcome on today's show. And of course, to our viewers who are just joining in, please stay tuned and don't forget to drop in a comment down below on your Facebook, wherever you're joining us from, and just be sure to drop in what you feel about relationships. And you have a counselor in all aspects, spiritually, emotionally. Talk about it. Like, he's here to answer all our questions. And to be honest, I feel like this is a topic that you don't need to be quiet, young people, if you're just tuning in, because relationship has been one of the main things that has been affecting us as young people, and it has led to so many ups and downs, emotional breakdown, mental illness, and sometimes even suicide. So this topic, take it upon your heart. And of course, even as we're addressing this topic, Malunga, I think it would be important for us to mention to our viewers that one of the some of the most important things that we're going to be looking at today is in a healthy what is a healthy relationship, the challenges and solutions, communications and conflict, self-love and growth. So you do tell us your opinion about this, and let's just get down into discussion, even as we get to educate one another about relationship. I, for one, I want a perfect relationship. And like I said, Uncle D, by the end of this, please, may I be qualified for a marriage material.
No,
Amen.
there are no perfect relationships.
Yeah,
Hello?
okay.
There are
So,
no
Uncle D,
perfect relationships.
oh
They
my
are
God, that's when
only
you wanted to run for the perfect ones. But what can we do? The coach has spoken. So, Uncle D, even before we dive into everything, I feel the main question that we have, like the first question that we're going to have, because trust me, after this show, I should have a partner. What are the top three qualities that young people must look for in a partner?
First of all, interestingly, I always say young people, we are looking for things in other people, but we're not looking for things in ourselves.
Yeah.
You want a perfect partner. Are you perfect material?
Oh, preach, Uncle D.
Because, because truly, this is where the problem is. We
Yeah.
want somebody who is perfect, but are we perfect ourselves? We
Yeah.
want somebody who is loving, who is accommodating, who is what? Are we those things ourselves?
Yeah.
All right. Basically, how do I say it? We are looking for things that are out there, but not things that are real. Do we have real parents? Maybe. Do we? Because
Maybe.
because because sometimes we expect things from people, but we
Yeah.
ourselves cannot do that. That's not right. I think things must start with ourselves.
Yeah.
I know that we are not perfect persons, but we try as much as possible to be better people, to be better
Yeah.
young people, to be better daughters. I have daughters here. So to be better daughters, okay?
So,
And then
so
maybe
Uncle,
also, yes,
sorry for cutting you short. Just looking at the aspect of I do get that we are all not perfect, yeah. And then there are
yes,
instances where you're trying to get to know somebody, you're trying to get into a relationship with somebody, and you're trying to meet halfway. Because I think one of the things that kills us is that we are there with people who are off our beliefs completely. And then after we get into it now, we start feeling, my beliefs are not really aligning with this one. This is not aligning. How do you think we should go about when it comes to that? Because we can't know the person 100%. So how do you think
Yes.
we can juggle around that?
I think where everything should start is most people start themselves. They are real to themselves. And so because they are real, they cannot in any way pretend. That's the biggest issue. When we start to pretend in relationships, that's where we kill it.
Yeah.
I said there are no perfect people, but they are only human beings. When I say human beings make mistakes. Human beings try as much as possible to do things right. For example, if you are talking of a relationship, when you have, let me not talk about boy-girl relationships at the moment. Let me talk
Yeah.
about girl-girl relationships. I think most young people find themselves very easy to relate to a girl of the like them or a boy like them. There are no issues. But later on, when they want now to change to have the opposite sex, that's where problems start. Okay, so I think let us not try to be who we are not. Let us try to be real. By being real is by being honest. Who doesn't like an honest person?
No, and we all have
We
honest young
also,
people.
Exactly.
exactly. Over now, I don't know if Malungo is satisfied with the
Yeah.
answer, but then I just wanted Uncle D to just put in point form the three qualities before I get to my other person. The three qualities that we should look for in point form. You know, our teenagers, they're just like, okay, Skodibe Namvela, he was so, you know, what are
Since
they
he hasn't
like
said
in point
quality,
form?
they'll think since he hasn't said quality, so we are not perfect. Let's just leave it.
Mm, yeah.
All right. You want in point form. First of all,
Yes,
I
please.
think everybody wants somebody who is honest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We want somebody who is honest. Who doesn't like the person who is honest? We all do.
We all have. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? We all want, uh, in terms of now looking, we all want somebody who is clean. Hygienically, I mean, no parent would like to, a daughter or a gentleman who is dirty. No. Uh, there's a saying that cleanliness is next to godliness.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Try clean. Of course, somebody who is loving. All right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
remember the things I've talked about. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, we
I'm
do. You
saying, do
say
you remember?
honesty.
Cleanliness
Hmm?
Yes,
and loving.
Mm-hmm.
honesty and loving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And cleanliness. You know to be
And love.
clean.
So
Yes.
we, with
Yeah.
those three said, am I
And
allowed to get three and more? Get heading me to the next question, Uncle D. You know, many are the times that we young people and teenagers have gotten into relationships without really getting to understand the length of what is involved in that relationship. Sometimes it's out of curiosity, sometimes it's out of peer pressure, without really having to understand oneself and what you yourself is all about. And now, with that being said, how can teenagers build self confidence before they get to enter into a relationship?
I think I suggest young people, first of all, learn better relationships at home. I don't know if there are some things that are common. For example, you hear something like charity begins at home. Start to learn about love at home from your parents, from your siblings. All right?
Mm-hmm.
When we get later on into other relationships, that's why we end up being, I'll use the word manipulated.
Yeah.
Especially you have young people who may manipulate girls. And that's where the issues now start getting worse because it's in the manipulation that young people end up doing the wrong things. For example, a girl who is not, we use the word, whose self-esteem is poor, her parents keep telling her, kuipa, especially the girls. And she finds a young man who says, you are very beautiful. When everybody in the family likes saying, no, no, ipa, no, ipa. Do you know what will happen to that girl? She may end up doing things she may not do otherwise because he's the only person who has loved her.
Yeah.
Let's learn to do things at home. And when you start at home, please, like I said, the home is the place where we are grown up. It's where we learn about love. It's where we learn about respect. It's where we learn about listening to parents and all that. I know now, for me, any I always tell them. Let me give you a very good example. There are parents who like telling their children, Chimutu, you idiot, you stupid, you are what? For the parents, when I'm there, I'll always tell them, never use those words to your children. Because you are demeaning them. And if you at home as a parent, you start demeaning your children, all they do out there is go and find somebody who will give them a bit of meaning to their life, and they will give up everything because they think is the one who has made things for them. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So I
Yes.
think let's start a lot of things at home.
Just whilst you are there, Uncle T. Oh, sorry
Yes.
to cut you short. Whilst you are there, I
Yes,
think
sir.
it would be my concern to a young person who has been in such a situation like you just mentioned, to say their upbringing and the environment has made them to have that low esteem about themselves, and they're literally now affected in their relationship. Even in their relationship, it's like they're there and they're trying to prove a point because of what they have been fed before, and it has affected them so badly. How can this young person get out of such a place and just realize to say, I'm much more than what people or what my family has been saying about me, for them to just simply be fairly and wholeheartedly loved without having to prove a point every day that I can be this?
Okay, so Uncle D, just before you answer that one, I think
That's a very important point.
yeah. So I think one of the most important things we're supposed to do as human beings is love ourselves. You know, I feel when you don't love yourself, if you don't value yourself, anything that comes from outside, you take it as gospel truth. But for someone who loves themselves, trust me, if you know that you know how much love you have for yourself and you know how much you are worth and you just know how important you are, nothing that someone tells you that you know is fake will affect you. So I think it's really important to love ourselves first before we let somebody love us. Yeah, Akoti, you can go on.
But remember, we grew up in homes. And the first people who must show us love, show that they care about us, are our parents. And when the home environment is rather spoiled, is not done the right way, that's where the problem is.
Oh,
Okay?
yeah.
And I think it's very important. For me, sometimes I've had the opportunity to talk to parents, and I always tell them, as parents, you can build your children's self-esteem, self-sense, and everything so that even when they go outside, when a person comes and says, I love you, and the young lady or the young man says, even my parents have told me that, it
Yeah.
makes sense. But when the environment is, what is the word? Where there's a lot of,
Toxic. Toxic environment, Uncle D. Toxic.
yes, toxic, that's the word. Toxic
Yeah.
environment, it becomes very, very difficult. Okay? And that's why it's very important for young people that the environment they grow up in is, in a way, good to allow them to grow up as healthy adults. Most young people, we grow up who we are, whether bad or whatever, it's because of what happened in the past with our families. And that's why family is key. Okay?
Yes.
Are you?
I think we can hear you, Uncle D, but we don't know what your MTN or
When the
your Airtel
family
is doing.
is able to provide that enabling environment. Sorry, I'm not getting you. Yeah.
Our complaints
When
are here.
you
Please,
grow
our
up in an
Airtel and MTN are playing with us, Uncle D, because your network is breaking now. We can't really clearly hear you. What network are we using out there, this? So that I make a few phone calls and shout at them, because they're disturbing us.
shout at them.
Yes, they're
And that's
disturbing us. Beautiful.
I think for me, this is where I always say, if a child grows up in an environment where they are loved, where they are appreciated, where they what, even later on, they will learn to appreciate other things. Even when other people talk about appreciation, they will understand it. But if they are not, it's negated, you have problems.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's a lot out there, Uncle D. That's a lot. And I hope the young people are listening. If you have a question for Uncle D, if there's something that you want to learn today that you haven't heard from a counselor, most of young people, we are always looking for where to find a counselor when we're going through things. So feel free. This is a youth platform. Just open up. If you want, you can write anonymous and just drop in your comment and just say what you have to say. And Uncle D will be here to answer you. Now, Uncle D, Malungo, with your permission, probably we can move to challenges and solutions in a relationship. Now, getting down to that, Uncle D, what are the common relationship challenges young people face and how can they overcome them? Speaking from a view of a counselor, what are some of the many challenges that you have noticed amongst the young people and how best can these things be overcome? Is it overcome or be overcome? Yes, that's English, Uncle D, because then somehow, but the end is overcome somehow. So how can that, what would you say about that, Uncle D?
First and foremost, I would like to emphasize, I think young people must learn that in a relationship, if you are not respected, get out.
Hi.
Hello? Did you hear that?
Vamos, run.
If you are not
That came out so strong. Get out.
Yes. Get out. Because in a relationship, we are not respected. Why should you stay? Yeah. What are you looking for?
Love, Uncle D, love.
You're looking for love where you're not respected.
Imagine.
What kind of love is that? Yes, what kind of love is that? When you are loved,
toxic love.
Yes, toxic love. When you are loved, even you yourself, you can know that you are loved. That's why I must say, I want to start from home. Do you know that schools now have said no, there's no, what is the word, beating of children or using whatever at school? Do you know why they have stopped it? Because at home, you should not be beaten by your parents. Yeah. Parents who love you, who appreciate you, who think you are a daughter and they are, but they are in the image of God. They should not shambok you. They should not beat you.
Uncle, these words they're saying, we're looking back at our parents now. Please. They used to shambok us.
Yes, the bottom line is, even now, I think if you have noticed, the beatings have stopped
Yeah, they have.
because we have realized that is not helping children. Umwana ashumfwa, whether mwamuma, whether mwamstenani, tomfwa.
They won't
Okay?
change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, for those who understand, all you need is, I don't want you to do this. Stop this. And they stop.
Yeah.
You beat them. I remember our children who were saying, me, I'm used, my mother and my father beat me. Even if I go, let them go and beat me. Is that what you want to bring in a child?
Izale kakubaba. I remember I used to say that. Izale kakubaba.
Culprit.
I hope you haven't taken up that habit to also own your children.
No, no.
But how did you learn that it's not a good way to do it?
I think I learned it especially from my siblings, my older siblings. Yeah, I'm not trying to pinpoint my parents right now, but it's just out of experience. You know, I was the younger one, they were the older ones. But then I would notice they do something wrong, they are beaten, they come in the bedroom, we laugh about it. The next time again, they'll do it because you
Exactly.
come in the bedroom, you laugh about it. So when you look at it nicely, like it really never helped. But then it got to a point where I think they just grew and noticed, like, okay, now you people have grown, this beating thing is not working. And when they actually started talking to us, that's when we actually started listening, because I think words hurt more than beatings. They
That's
really
how
do.
it is. Parenting is usually what I would say, something we learn over the years. You will see, for example, the younger children will say, my mother and father have changed. For us, they used to beat us. Why have
Yeah.
they stopped? They have just learned that it's not a better way of educating your children. There is a better way. Talk to them and they will listen. Okay?
Okay. So, Uncle G,
Yes.
just to bring you back to toxicity, I think we talked about a lot of things when it comes to toxic relationships. I'm bringing this up because, Uncle D, I want to be in a healthy one, please. So, that's talking about toxic love. What effects do you think it has on young people, both in the short run and in the long run? And by toxic love, I mean the love that you don't feel, the love that comes with physical beatings. I'm sure there are such loves. The loves that comes without boundaries, and where toxic love is wide. So,
Yes.
what do you think could be the effects on young people when
Thank
it
you.
comes to toxic? Airtel, Airtel. I'm not doing this with Airtel right now, Faith. What's wrong with them? Mute your microphone so that we can shout at these networks in peace, please. Unmute it. Yeah.
I'm not shouting at anyone, Malungo, but getting down to the question that you asked Uncle D before
Yeah.
he even gets to come in, toxic relationships have really affected young people in so many ways because they have gotten used to the situation they are in presently. Imagine you're in this relationship and you're being beaten all the time. I have heard stories on news, stories in the community, and even in society at large, where this woman is being beaten every day, but she'll still go and be nice to the husband, but she's still being beaten. You get, so it's like
Yeah.
mentally it has become a thing that you get used to, and I think it's inhuman, is that the correct word, to get used to
Yeah.
bad things happening to you. Like, you are not wired to be tortured like that. You are wired to be loved. Now, this is on both male and female aspects. Let's not try to separate gender. Toxic relationships have also led into, I think, GBV, and all those things are backed together. They just make somebody get used to the bad things that are not supposed to be there. And I think it's not a good thing, because this person gets to be limited on how far they can think good about themselves, and sometimes even close themselves to better opportunities. You're like, oh, he's a teenager and so chubby. And then you see, like, that is a very bad It's a very bad notion or statement to live with. Tinajaira wamatimenya, might just a bwanj. We are already in it.
Exactly.
Like
And,
it,
and you
it's
know
it's
one
not
thing
even right.
one thing I
Mm,
hate about it is how
yeah,
society wants to also come in the toxicity. There are certain relationships where you're not happy. This person doesn't treat you well. This person beats you up. But the moment he's done doing that, he comes with a bouquet of flowers and comes with a brand new phone, comes with gifts, and you think it's normal. You think it's love. Next time again, that thing repeats itself. This person comes and showers you with all the gifts he has, and then you think it's love. In the actual sense, you are destroying yourself and you're destroying how you see relationships. Because now, let's say for instance, that relationship ends, you move to the next one. You would think it would be normal, even for the next one to beat you up. For as long as it brings you
and
those
it's
gifts and
okay.
you get back to normal. And it's just so disturbing because I like what Uncle D said before he joked. You can't be in a relationship where you don't feel the love. If love is there, you feel the
Exactly.
love. If respect is there, you don't have to look for it and say, no, he loves me in his own way. What do you mean? He loves me in
What
his
is
own way.
his way? And just on what you have said, at love, at when you are loved, you feel it. It's the same way when
Mhm.
a man loves a woman, he knows it.
Mm.
You get. And
Exactly.
so let's not compare, but it's like for a man, if you can feel it, you are just wired like that. You are a hunter and you know your own once you see them. So some people, they just want to be, I don't know, probably this is why we miss everything and get ourselves in wrong places. But anyway,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Now, just to connect what you said, it's so unfortunate when you connect families where we come from and the personal life of a young lady or a young girl when it comes to these relationships and getting through toxicity in a relationship. Have you ever heard a story, Malungo, be it at school and society, where this girl is being abused, but because he's dating a guy with money, the family will be like, Iwe, ulichipuba.
They
So
even
therefore,
support.
you know what I mean? Like you are more
Yeah.
concerned about the money and the support that this guy is bringing, but less concerned about your well-being of your own child, forgetting that at the end of the day, it's about this person and your child in the house. It's the two of them. And then there's no guarantee that the gifts that you're receiving now that your daughter is dating a rich man or this, the richest, if we may say, in your family, you're seeing, no, he's going to be a breadwinner, he'll do stuff for us. And then you're just pushing your friend to go like that without even thinking about how they are going to be in that relationship. So I think this is where also family comes in, like Uncle D was saying, to say the feeling of love comes from family. And family should also learn to respect the choices that the young ones are making because they are the ones in it. Mwala Isaac
Yeah.
wedding, Mwala Shana, no, it was a very, top billing wedding and all that. That top billing wedding, the question is it going to be a top billing life after that? So
Exactly.
feel
Or will
like
they
at
go
the
back?
end of the day, guys, you know, so if you can't feel it, then get out. Like
Get
Uncle Dick said it.
if you
If you
can't leave
can't
the
feel it,
relationship,
get out.
get out. I think I really like what you
Yeah.
said because family really play a major role when it comes to how we perceive things as young people. There are even certain, especially mothers. I don't know what's wrong with mothers. There are certain mothers who you introduce them to a very good person, someone who treats you right, someone who loves you, and you feel the love. But because the person looks a type of way, because the person is not driving, because the person does not speak the English they want him to speak, they think he's not right for you. So sometimes as young people, you might have the right person. You might have somebody who really cares and someone who really loves you. But because your family feels it's not of standard, it just gets destroyed. Families. What goes on in this
That's true.
family?
And it's even funny, Malungo, that sometimes it's not only family. This now will get even to lead us to the next
Friends.
question. I hope Uncle D could be back and just help us with this one. How can young
Yeah.
people deal with peer pressure and societal expectations? It's funny
Yeah.
how now in relationships, you are more into a relationship based on what society will say about it rather than
Yeah.
what you yourself will feel about it. How can that be dealt with? In your opinion, before I say my own.
Yes, I think in my opinion already that's a very there was a point I almost believed in that, and I was telling myself, like, when I think about it in this way, society is evolving. So we are evolving with what's new, what's trending. Like, it's normal. Let's evolve as well. But then when I sat down and thought about it, society is evolving, yes, but we have more cases of divorces. We have more cases of what do you call this? GBVs. We have more cases of heartbreaks. Um, what do you call this? Suicide. Society is changing, but these things are also growing. So now I sat down to myself and thought, like, okay, what could be the reason? There's something that was there in past relationships that we are not having now. Thank you for coming back, Uncle D. We have a very important question right now that we are juggling around. Faith, I think you can ask that question again before I finish up.
Yes.
Uncle D, welcome back. As Uncle D is coming back, please to our viewers, drop that comment, ask that question, and just let's get interactive. And we'll be able to read your questions just here on the show. It's our topic, guys. Let's talk about this. Don't hide away from this. So, Uncle D, the question was, how can young people deal with peer pressure and societal expectations? Uncle D, you're giving me a ear. I repeat my
What's
question.
happening? Yes, we are cutting.
Oh, okay. The question was, how can young people deal with peer pressure and societal expectations?
First of all, let me start with you are talking of two things: society expectations and peer pressure. Let's start with the society. For me, starts with the society you live in. And you know what that society is made up of? Your father, your mother, yes, and the siblings or your brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Every home has their norms. For example, for me at home, we make sure that. Did you know that even, for example, having meals together means something?
It really does.
Yes,
It really does.
may not. It doesn't matter. It means something. For example, some parents will make sure that certain meals you have together, like, for example, what do you call you young people? Dinner or supper or whatever it is.
Supper.
Yes, because there is a point in eating together. There's something that is so. Every home must have their what I would call their norms. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's at home. I don't know if you remember that saying, charity begins at home. When you start at home, you are respectful to your parents. I don't think you insult an adult who you find in the community because he represents the what? Because you don't do it at home.
Yeah.
But at home, you don't listen to your parents. You don't. You think eating together is not important, and all those things. That ultimately goes out to the community where you live in. A person who doesn't respect their parents, most likely they will not respect any other adult in the community. Okay, that's very important.
Okay. So, Uncle D. Okay, so I can cut you short for a bit. Sorry.
Yes.
So, Uncle D, when we talk about relationships, I think there's one thing that we can't run away from, especially when it comes to our society: sex. As young people, these days, people in relationships are doing it. Young people are having sex in relationships, and these things come with their own issues. So I'm going to mention two right now. Sex comes with teenage pregnancies. So do you think relationships also increase the rate of teenage pregnancies? Do you think us girls are responsible for them when it comes to linking them with relationships? And then the second one is, how do we talk to our parents about it? Because I feel sometimes parents have the greatest advice, even when it comes to relationships and everything. And then in these relationships, youths are having sex in their relationships, but how do we open up to our parents? Since now I want to get good advice that can help us make good decisions. Yeah, I hope you got those two questions, Hodi, and we can try to marry them.
If I forget, you remind me. First of all,
Okay.
for me, charity begins at home.
Yeah.
If you start to learn to do things, even about respect, it's important. Can we talk to our parents about sexuality? Yes, you can. But it depends
How
on
do we start?
how do you start? I'll tell you how you start. One day, a child came home with a condom in the hands of the child and said,
Yay.
Mommy, yes, Mommy, what's this? You know what happened?
Mm.
The mother could not answer. She was so embarrassed. She couldn't answer.
Don't tell me there were people in that environment.
But, maybe if I forget, remind me. There is a way we talk to children about issues of sex and sexuality. The first question is she should have asked was, Mommy, where did you get this? And if the child said, I picked it somewhere, the mother could have said, go and throw it from somewhere. And somehow, in a way, put at the back of her mind that one day she needs to explain what the condom is. The problem is for her, she was thinking of, how do you wear a condom? Or how do you get it? And that's not what was on the mind of the child. All the child wanted to know what. That's all. And children have those questions. There's a way we answer questions from children, especially questions about sexuality. Okay. What is the other part of the question?
We were linking relationships to teenage pregnancies.
Yes.
Do you think, just that link itself?
There is a topic I do with young people, and it's called sexuality continuum.
Okay.
And in that sexuality continuum, when you look at a person's life, do you know that there's so much changes between 15, or rather between 10 and 20? The rest of the chart will be almost blank. You are young ladies, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I talk of things that you may find out. For example, you notice that as a young lady, your breasts are growing, right?
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
I'm growing.
They're growing, just anyhow. Have you
No,
seen a
I'm now
baby?
becoming a young woman.
You're developing into an adult.
Yeah.
But they are also, so as a parent, for example, the child comes and says, this one is what? That's the time the parent should take time to explain what that means.
Yeah.
But you see, for you, all you are thinking of, because you are an adult, is sex. That's all. The child is not thinking about sex. No. The child is thinking, what is this? What does that mean? What is this one? But it's also time to remember to tell the child to say, they're not growing. For example, for me, I know I cannot talk to my girls, but I'll talk to the boys and tell them to say, when you notice that you are being attracted to the girls, isn't it? Is the time in your life as a person that you realize that you are growing up. Part of growing up also is those sexual feelings. Do you have sexual feelings when you are born? No.
No.
You don't have those sexual feelings, isn't it? When you're 4? When you're 5?
Nope.
I don't know if you remember. But there's a time we all start. And at the time when we start, there is a reason. God has put it in us as boys that at this time, these changes mean this will happen. Okay.
Yeah.
But by the way, do you know the youngest girl to be pregnant in Lusaka?
Mm-mm.
I'm talking of
It's
Lusaka.
surprising.
Nine. Nine.
How old is she? 9.
Nine.
Jesus Christ. These sexual feelings should be controlled. 9.
Yes. So all these things happen because at that time, that girl did not know what was happening. But this
Yeah.
happens apparently in us. Oh, by the way, if you don't grow breasts, I'll say something that you may not. If you don't have pubic hair, if you don't have those things, it means you cannot be a mother.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be a mother, are you going to live a good life?
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
At a
But
young
all
age,
of you, go back to your own lives. Just remember, how old were you when you started your pubic hair started growing? How old were you? Some things you don't have to ask about that. Just look in
yeah.
your own life. When did it
Yeah.
happen? Okay. Oh, by the way, I can tell you the age for menarche. When I say menarche, is the time when young ladies start
Yeah.
having their menses, isn't it? Remember, I said it was 9, right? But the
Yes.
majority of girls who have their first period between 12 and 15.
Yeah.
And that is normal. You just need to go back. You remember the first time you had your period, at what age were you? And then you realize that it is growing. By the way, it goes in families. Uh, for example, for me, when I ask a young lady, I would say, when did you have your first period? If she says it was around 12, you will find in the family, the girls start their periods around that time.
Around that time. Yeah.
Yes. Unfortunately for the boys, because we don't even know when we have our first
Yeah.
ejaculation, because we're too busy with other things. So certain things can be associated. All you need is ask parents or your mother. I don't know
Yeah.
if you are so good with your families. I don't know how close you are with your mother.
We are actually. We are.
We try.
Are you? You
Yes.
try.
But,
Are you?
mm, but
Why
we
I'm
are.
saying
I
this,
think my mother is the best
you
friend.
can know. Congratulations. That's the best way, actually. Make your mother your best friend as a young lady. And for the boys, I always say, make your father your best friend. You can ask questions. Every time a parent would come to me to say, Uncle D, somebody asked me this for my child, and I always tell them, please don't shy away from answering those questions. You're the best person to ask them. You taught your son how to eat. You taught your son how to do certain things, isn't it? Why shouldn't
Yeah.
they also learn about sexuality from you?
Yeah.
You are a parent.
It's an abomination in Africa, apparently.
No, we are
It
cutting
was
off
an
that narrative.
abomination. It was
It's
an
no
It
longer
should
an
be
abomination
cut.
before, but it's no
yeah.
longer.
Yeah, and I think
I
it's
think
good
that
like
was
that.
the message that we wanted. That's the
Yes,
message
Faith,
that we wanted.
there's,
Now, Uncle,
there's one question I actually have for Faith now. This one is going to Faith.
Yes.
And could it will also
mm,
vice versa. But because we are talking so much about social media and Faith is a social media addict, I think this question should come to you. So, how do you think social media and technology impact relationships in our society?
Just like technology, like anything else, can be used wisely and can be abused.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, there's a place for social media, and there is no place for certain things for social media.
Yeah.
Okay? So for me, I would say you are the ones who are in the social media world, right? Sit and say, is this good for social media? Is this good for us? There are things you notice are good. There are things you also notice are not good.
Yeah.
And for the good things, keep them.
Mm-hmm.
For them also good, throw them. Yeah. Remember, everything has advantages and what? And disadvantages.
Disadvantages.
And if you
I
notice
think that
that, if
What
you
just
notice
happened?
that
She
there,
just.
hmm?
I'm saying I was wondering. Faith just joked. I'm sure the internet has come to destroy us as well. So since now, Uncle D, I had one final question. Looking at the fact that we're running out of time, I think I would want to talk about, since the whole essence of this was relationships in young people. So before we
Yeah.
just close, I think it's important for us to advise them on how exactly they can make decisions. So how do you think young people? What do you think young people should do when it comes to making decisions when it comes to relationships, according to you? Because from the looks of it, I think we are making decisions that are not really good, looking at the fact that we have a high rise in number of divorces, high rise in number of toxic relationships. So how best can you advise young people when it comes to making decisions about their relationships?
Um, for those who have had the opportunity, I've always told them, as young people, please, if you can't ask your parents and they cannot answer you properly, ask me. Hello?
Yeah, that's why we are
Hello?
here. Tell them.
Yes.
Tell them.
I know sometimes your parents, like I said, when you ask them this question, they may think, this boy or this girl is a problem.
Yeah.
But for me, I can tell them, and I'll tell any parent, when you have the opportunity for your children to ask you questions, first of all, it means they have trust in you.
Mm-hmm.
You have brought up your child, you have taught them, and probably you want to take them to the best schools. You want them to, whatever they have the best. Why not give them the best in terms of sexuality education? Why
Yeah.
not you talking to them to say, this is right and this is what? Wrong. If you do it correctly, I'm sure even in heaven, God will be saying, well done. That's how it should be
Well done, sir.
done.
Yeah. Faith, welcome back. You lost that from there. So we've gotten Uncle D's view. I think I would also just want to get your view before we close the show. What advice can you have for young people when it comes to decision making in relationships?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For young people, for me, don't be in a relationship because everyone is in a relationship. No.
Uh-huh. That's the answer I was looking for, Uncle D. Yeah.
That's the answer you're looking for.
Yes. And we're good.
Yeah, don't go in, don't follow the crowd. So and so is in a relationship and so is in a, no. Wait for the right time and hopefully discuss with your parents.
Yeah.
Can I be in a relationship? And if you are lucky, your parents will be the one to guide you as to what should be done and not done in a what? In a healthy
Relationship.
relationship.
Yeah.
A good, healthy relationship will even be known by your parents. Do you know for you, for example, if you are in a relationship, for example, you as a young lady, and sometimes you fight, you come with a sullen eye. You know who will be the first person to ask?
Your
Your
parents or the
parents.
people.
Why have you got that sullen eye? But if you have already told them I'm in a relationship, they will probably even tell you to say, Your
Run.
boyfriend never beat you. He should never beat you for whatever reasons. If you have a problem, if you have differences, iron them out. That's the best way. There's no way I can stop my children from being in relationships. Do you know why?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
I was about to give you the answer I always tell my mom.
Please,
So when they tell you,
yes.
don't be in a relationship, don't be in a relationship now. You're still young. That was before. And then there are also times where you want to go out, and then she'll be like, but you're supposed to, and just go like, Mommy, are you going to marry me? Sure. It sounds
How will
crazy,
I
but
find
again,
a
it just
man?
makes us think,
You would ask
you
them, how will I
know.
find a man?
You know the best thing, especially for you girls, even when you are in a relationship, she knows your boyfriend and what have you, there are certain things she will guide you. She will tell you,
Yeah,
this is right, this is wrong.
true.
Oh, by the way, before, I think this is important. Don't go out with your boyfriend in a mini skirt or dress code.
Preach. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's important. Dress appropriately for the occasions, and if need be, not on this immediate. If you ask me personally, I'll come and tell you what to wear. Okay?
Was that Airtel? Faith, why do you look frozen? Please tell me you're still here. Oh no, she was frozen. Anyway, but thank you so much, Uncle D. I feel like this conversation has helped one or two, or actually more, youth out there. So we're just going to have a few comments that we're going to read as we finalize the show so that we can keep it interactive as usual right here on the Real Talk Show. So the first comment is from Miko Light. I hope I read that right. For real, there is no perfect relationship. Thank you so much, Miko, for agreeing to what Uncle D said, which is very true. We have another one from Nyundo who is saying, just tuned in from Lukulu. I feel like I'm always asking where Lukulu is, and one day Nyundo will just beat me.
Nakuru. Nakuru is in Western Province.
Okay. We have another one from watching from Shang City, Shangombo. Okay, I thought you were in China. I was going to get excited, but I'm still happy though. Watching from Shang City, Shangombo. Next topic. Next topic, talk about safe space for adolescent boys. I really like that suggestion because I feel like we're always talking about girls, this, girls, and I like the
This I
fact
would
you're
appreciate. Yes.
yeah, this time around we have to also channel to boys a lot the same way that we channel to girls because we are still one society. So thank you so much, Uncle D. We really had an amazing conversation with you. I just wished we had more time on this show because I feel like the next time we have a longer show, we are going to have more conversation concerning relationships. And for everybody who's viewing from out there, I hope you got one or two things from this. If you still have any more questions, you can still go through on our show when you're watching it at your own time and pass on those comments that you have, the questions you have, and we'll still have your answer as the youth platform. But for today, that was what we had for you. Uncle D, Faith, and I, we say bye-bye and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you so much.
Okay.